7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Live from the Base Star.
Welcome to IFB, Interfleet Broadcasting. I'm New York Pete. I'm here with my buddy, the Tipsy Toaster. Thanks for joining us on our news, pop culture, and sci-fi entertainment channel. Full disclosure, Chris and I, we grew up watching 70s and 80s TV, movies, and cartoons, and we bring our unique spin to our little corner of the universe, and everyone needs to know that we are big Battlestar Galactica fans. So, with that said, welcome.
You make it sound like it's a, yeah. With full disclosure, hi, my name's Pete, Chris. We're Battlestar Galactica fans.
That's right.
I've been a Battlestar Galactica fan since 1978.
That's right. and proud of it.
It's like Battlestar Galactica Anonymous.
Oh, hey Chuck. Hey William. And hey, Lola, what's going on, you guys? Thanks for joining us live. Everybody else that's on, quickly put up
her name was Lola
on the chat.
Hey,
Carl, for big Battlestar Galactica fans,
press 1.
Press 1.
Welcome to Movie Phone. Welcome to Movie Phone. Today at the Rialto Theater in Casper, Wyoming, we will be playing Battlestar Galactica. For movie times, please press 1.
Only we know what that's about.
I did that the other day. There's some of the guys at work, and they're like,
they don't know.
Huh?
What are you doing? They think you're crazy. Something wrong with you.
My media, the guys that work for me are younger kids, and half the stuff I say they don't get. It's just scary.
I had to stop years ago.
Why didn't you let me talk to your father? I mean, he didn't raise you right.
Exactly. That's the only person that would know. Otherwise, they don't know. So I stopped. Dude, I'm telling you, years ago, I stopped bringing that stuff up. They don't know what the heck we're talking about. So, and then you'll get one of these days, you're going to get this, Chris. You'll get, that's my dad talks about that all the time. And you're like, I'm old enough to be their father. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember. There was some. I'll remember it here in a couple minutes. I mentioned something to one of the other guys the other day, and they're like, "Never heard of it." I was like, "Okay." I think it was a Ren and Stimpy thing. I don't think they got it. First thing we do is take over the world, and like, huh?
Yeah, they don't know. That's their loss. But anyway, today, guys, we're gonna and gals. Today we have.
That's right. Don't forget the gals.
We have Chris
because we have Lola
from the 501st Empire City Garrison. He's the commander there, and he's going to come on. And we have John One doing his news update, right? News entertainment update. So we're going to have that. Mediocre Modeler is on. 6 more hours. We actually had a good time.
We had a great time. It went by really fast last week.
The marathon was great. And then, of course, we did an interview. Mediocre Modeler interviewed us, and we didn't get to finish that, so we're gonna do that again.
That was interesting.
It was great.
I still haven't got any hate mail for the Cassiopeia thing yet. I'm sure I will
though. So we have updates. So we're gonna have. Is John up yet?
No, I don't see him yet.
No. All right. Tell you what. Why don't we do this? We do the actual. We toast. We'll bring on Mr. Chris Fian.
That sounds good.
And then John One will pop on, and then we'll go through because we have a guest tonight, Johnny K.
He's got a great fan film
studios. Oh yeah, he's got a Batman fan film. Is the latest one.
That's Pete's favorite, by the way. Pete likes Batman. I was never a big Batman fan, but I love watching it because it was.
Batman.
I love watching the lighting and the scenery and the way it's shot. It's just that's
Batman.
Yeah.
I'm Batman. You're not Batman. So it's if you get a chance, we're gonna screen it.
We're gonna screen it. We'll kind of go through it, and we'll do
my
a
God,
blow by
it's
blow
really
type
cool.
thing with Johnny there, as long as he's able to stay on, and we will milk his brain for everything he's got and tell us all about how it happened and everything. So we're excited about doing that. So
Paul is here.
Paul,
excellent.
Paul, go park the car. That's right.
What?
I'm appropriating your culture again.
What? I didn't understand that, and the subtitles didn't come up. So you need to be very careful.
You need subtitles now? Hang on.
Yeah, because you don't. Man,
I can do those.
Build a Batmobile right now, Jeff Walters.
Somebody is making one, isn't it, Jeff? Isn't Jeff the one making the Batmobile?
He is.
Yeah.
And actually, Paul Commander Kane says live is greater than Memorex.
Yes. I always remember the commercials where he was sitting on the thing and he was drinking his drink and the air is blowing on him.
That's awesome.
Once again, the people here will probably recognize that if I mentioned that to anybody at work. They would just go like, what?
Yeah. Oh, thanks for joining us live, guys. Appreciate it. From the Copa. Lola's over at the Copacabana watching us on whatever TV screens they got there.
Yep.
And Super Fan Fran has...
All right, I'm going to get you up, and I will read the beer tonight. So Pete and I have the exact same beer tonight because we just happen to do that. We try to do that every so once in a while. We are drinking tonight the Virginia Beer Company's Elbow Patches. And hopefully they don't taste like an elbow patch. But anyways, it is an oatmeal stout to be enjoyed with breakfast, lunch, dinner, or any time in between. I don't know about breakfast. A smooth, velvety base sets the stage for pronounced aromas of chocolate and coffee. That's right, Virginia Beer Company, brewed by and canned by Virginia Beer Company, Williamsburg, Virginia, close to where I am at right now. And Johnny's close to there too, by the way.
Thank you, Superfan
Fran is the donation person for this one tonight.
Yep. That's right. And John's with us, John McCartney. Thank you for joining us live, sir. Appreciate it. And let's go. Do that more.
Yeah, I just sprayed last time. Ready? One, two, three.
Oh,
not bad.
Oh boy. Okay.
Ready for the pour? I am using the Blue Squadron. You know, I need to get.
I'm using the Strongbow glass that I got in London last year.
I need to make up a Stranded Warrior one.
Yeah, we do. Ready? Go.
Look how dark it is. It's beautiful.
It's like a milkshake. I wish it would taste like it. I know it's not.
Look at that.
It won't taste like a milkshake.
That's beautiful. That's nice and dark.
Look at that.
Nothing like stouts and porters. Those are my two favorite.
Colin, thank you for joining us live. Appreciate it. Let's see. Paul, of course, going on Land Rams. Of course, Land Rams. All right, so.
Build the Batmobile, build a Land Ram.
Yeah, build a Land Ram, man.
All right, cool. So we always toast to the fans. People like Johnny K tonight, the fans that really go the extra mile to either build their fandom or just enjoy their fandom. They buy stuff. They make sure that the Hollywood people know that they still enjoy the stuff. So this goes out to you guys because we always say the fans are the ones that fuel the fleet. So fans fuel the fleet.
Here's to you guys. Cheers.
That's tasty. No comments, Pete? Is it too tough for you?
No, it definitely has the hints of the dark chocolate.
And the coffee?
Like the aftertaste, there's definitely a chocolate. Wow, you guys got to look at that.
That's just
beautiful.
Look
how dark that is.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
And it's, let's see, Pete's a lightweight, so it's 6.2% by volume, so.
This is perfect. This is just exactly. I am now drinking more beer than I ever have. Well, not ever have, but more beer than in the last 15 to 20 years of my life. Thank you, Tipsy Toaster.
By God, we're going to have fun or get drunk doing it. So,
well, we had fun doing the 6 hour, guys. So for everybody that joined us,
didn't have enough alcohol during that one, but
Oh my God, the 6 hour marathon we had such a good time. We had Professor Eric Padden was on with Superfan Fran was on. And then we had Eric Larson, right? Glenn Eric Larson was on with us. We did trivia, had a great time. Team BSG Viper came on later, Mediocre Modeler. I mean, it was an all-star
Chuck, Chris.
cast.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it was, and then we had our own fact checker, right? So Rob Bound came
Rob
on,
Bound, yep.
and just it was incredible, right?
I haven't seen Rob on tonight. He'll be coming on later, probably.
Jump on. Yeah, he'll jump on. He usually gets on if he comes on a little late, but he'll come on, and I'll go over. Let's see. Let me just do this real quick before.
What are you doing?
All right, cool. Let's see. We had Von Babison, right? And we had John Repper and Chris Laskowski from Down Under. Brian Chan came on. Owen Cotter, good friend of ours over at Sci Fiction. Joe Carabeo, Tara and John, Lola. I mentioned Rob, and then Chuck Davenport and Chris came on as well.
And then Baz.
Thank you, guys.
Baz was a write-in.
Oh my God, Baz too. It was so cool. We had Baz on as well. So we had
Team BSG and Baz, which was fantastic. Two Viper
cool.
builders.
Oh yeah. So
we should do that again. That was fun.
It was a lot of fun, guys. So thanks for everybody coming on. We're going to do the marathon again. We're definitely going to do it again. Jeff, I don't know. We're not going to do 12 hours, but we'll do 6.
Heck yeah.
We'll do 6.
We didn't know if they were going to shut us down because it said it may do 4 and you may be able to do 8. And then they're going to shut you down. So
yeah, 8 is the max that Facebook will let you do anyway. So
for us, evidently. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Rob, cool. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. So without further ado, Mr.
Speaking of fans,
yes, let's do it.
Speaking of fans, we have a great fan who's going to give us the update in the Star Wars universe.
Yep,
and,
that's right.
Some really cool stuff going on, and plus the stuff that he's done with the 501st. So, Mr. Fian, how the heck are you?
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So
well, there's a lot going on in the Star Wars universe. I wanted to kick it off with talking a little bit about the movies. There hasn't been a lot of news. I think the last time I was on, I was talking about the Taika Waititi movies. Yes. There's still not a lot of information about them, except for the possible release dates, which are December 2025 and December 2027. Oof. So we still have a long wait to even see those ever materialize. They're in pre-production, so I don't think we're going to see them anytime soon, at least not until 2025. However, there have been other rumors swirling around that there are some other standalone movies that they're working on, not part of a trilogy, just other one-off movies or fill-in movies or something of that nature. And there's one with Damon Lindelof as the writer attached and a director named Sharmeen Obad Chinoy, who directed 2 of the episodes of Miss Marvel. That movie may actually come out before the other movies come out, and it's in pre-production right now, and there's still, again, not a lot of information about that. There's also been rumors that there's another movie planned down the line with Sean Levy from Deadpool, who directed Deadpool 1 and 2, and who's currently directing Deadpool 3. Again, rumors, we don't know anything about them yet. All that's just stuff swirling around and names attached to projects that really haven't gotten off the ground. The only thing we do have confirmed is that the Patty Jenkins movie, Rogue Squadron, is dead. As of right now, it's been taken off the schedule. Really? There's nothing happening with that. So whatever their creative differences were, they parted ways, and that's no longer on the schedule. Huh. On the TV front, we have a ton to look forward to in 2023. There's about 4 projects that are definitely going to hit Disney Plus this year. One of them is already hit, and that's the Bad Batch second season. They're already on the 3rd episode. The fan reactions to that so far have been very good, and that's going to tide us over until The Mandalorian season 3 hits Disney Plus, which is going to be on March 1st. There's been some teasers of that and a trailer that look absolutely incredible. A lot of Mando action, a lot of Grogu action. So everybody's really just bracing themselves, waiting eagerly for The Mandalorian season 3 to come out. On the horizon Probably right after that, probably sometime in the early summer, Ahsoka is supposed to come out. There's no official release date yet, but based on previous release schedules, they usually wait a few months after that show comes out before they release another show. So people are targeting probably somewhere in the summer time frame. There's also been some rumors about some other talent that's involved with Ahsoka. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who's been in tons of movies and TV shows, including Fargo. She was in a movie recently called Kate. She was in a bunch of different movies. She's been supposedly tapped possibly as Hera, who is a character that we saw in the Rebels cartoon, who's a Twi'lek who has the things on her head. Everybody's very excited if she is actually cast as that in whatever capacity. She would be perfect for that role, and people are getting very excited if she is attached. Again, nothing's confirmed, but that's the current rumors swirling around regarding her casting. We then also have something else that's already in the can that's in post-production right now. It was kind of a surprise project that was announced last May during Celebration, and that's Skeleton Crew starring Jude Law. There's not much known about that except it takes place in the New Republic era, but that is going to drop sometime this year, probably late in the year, probably sometime around the end of the year. So that's something else we have to look forward to. And just another side project that is coming out this year in the spring. If you liked Star Wars Visions, which was different anime takes on the Star Wars universe, they are making a second season of Star Wars Visions, and that is already scheduled to come out sometime in the spring. So it's an animated series. It's a little. I wasn't so crazy about it. I'm not a huge anime fan, but a lot of folks did appreciate the art style and some of the stories that were told during the Star Wars Visions episode. So it is something else to look forward to this year. On the horizon for 2024, there's only 2 or 3 confirmed projects. One of them is actually already in production, and that's The Acolyte, which we've heard a lot about. We were talking a little bit last time about some of the casting. That's actually in production. There was some leaks over the past 2 or 3 weeks with some on-set photos of some of the actors in their costumes and in their makeup. So people are excited about that, looking on the horizon for 2024. There's also another project that's an animated series for preschoolers, so the little ones can get their Star Wars action, and that's called The Young Jedi Adventures. That's also in production and going to come out sometime in 2024. There are 2 other nebulous projects that we don't know much about, but were talked about at Celebration that may come out in 2024. And one of them was a droid story that's an animated story that involves R2-D2 and C-3PO, and another so far unnamed droid, and a Lando series starring Julian Glover, who was Lando in the Solo movie. Again, that is still too early to tell whether that project will get off the ground, but it was announced, and they are targeting it for 2024. So they the hits just keep on coming with what they're coming out with on Disney Plus. They've actually invested so much time and energy into building this universe. There doesn't seem to be any end in sight for the new projects and new things they're coming out with. People are a little disappointed. There's been no announcement about a possible Obi-Wan season 2. Obi-Wan got very good critical reception, and that's something that a lot of fans would like. Andor did premiere and air and divided fans a little bit. Some folks thought it was too slow, too meandering, while others praised its production value in writing and directing. Andor is getting a second season. The timing of that and when it goes into production is not yet known. But I think all of this will come into a lot greater focus later this year in April 7th through the 10th of this year is Celebration Europe, which is the big Star Wars convention where they hold a lot of announcements, a lot of panels. Kathleen Kennedy will be there. Other producers and other directors from different Star Wars series will be there. And that's when they usually hold off until they make their big announcements and with a lot of fanfare and a lot of trailers and behind the scenes stuff and a lot of different announcements. So keep your eyes out for that April time frame for a lot of announcements. And then again, probably around May 4th, when they try to do something around that unofficial May the 4th be with you holiday, they'll probably release a trailer for Ahsoka or a trailer for one of the other properties that are coming up. So it's going to be an exciting time in the spring for Star Wars, because I'm sure there'll be a ton of announcements, and we'll already be halfway through The Mandalorian season 3. So people will be, the excitement among fans will be at a fever pitch. Not much else to report in the Star Wars universe. There is one other thing in the video game front. For those of you who liked Star Wars: The Fallen Order, which was a very popular Star Wars game that came out, they are making a sequel to that called Jedi Survivor, which is coming out in a few months. It's going to be on PlayStation 5 and the Xbox next generation console. So that's very exciting. That was a very well-received game, and it is getting a sequel that is coming out shortly. So gamers have a lot to look forward to with that. They're also going to be porting the Galaxy's Edge game that's currently on Oculus and a couple of other platforms onto the PlayStation VR 2. So that's going to be exciting. They're remastering that, making it even more immersive and even better graphics with the new hardware that's going to be coming out with the PlayStation 5. So people are very excited about that. One other thing I just want to follow up on that I mentioned on the last time I was here, I was very excited about that movie 52577. It was a movie that was about a filmmaker who was inspired by Star Wars, and I had been waiting 10 years for this indie film to finally come out. Well, unfortunately, it wasn't that great.
Oh, no.
Finally got to see it. Finally got the DVD on Amazon. And the first, I'd say 2/3 of the movie were actually really good. And then the last third, the whole thing just falls apart. It just goes nowhere and gets very silly and very hard to follow. And the production value went way down. So obviously they ran out of money. And the last third of the movie was not properly finished. It was a shame, but I was glad to finally see it. Because it did have a lot to do with Star Wars. And actually, there was some things in it that are worth seeing. There was some of the guy's memories of visiting the set of Star Wars where they were filming the special effects and how that got him involved. He met Dykstra and a couple of the other model makers, and he was it was kind of a love letter to those guys for kind of inspiring him to become a filmmaker. But unfortunately, I think the movie as a movie was not the greatest. So if you were going to check it out, wait for it to be free on Amazon or one of the other streaming services if you do want to check it out.
It's one of those don't buy it, but you can
watch it. Just don't buy it. Don't buy it. I went and bought it because I've been waiting so long, but don't buy it. Just hold off. And you might enjoy parts of it. Again, it was I'd say the first 2/3 were very good. It had me. And then it kind of started falling apart. It got a little out there and it got a little weird and a little stupid. And the last third really just, it just kind of fell apart. On the 501st front, we had a lot going on last year. The end of the year, we did a lot of holiday parties. We did a lot of things for various charities, including the Cerebral Palsy Association, the Autism Association. We were doing some things for the Kiwanis organization. So it was a very fun, festive time for us where we do a lot of holiday parties for different organizations, and that was very fun for us. On the horizon, we have our awards dinner coming up on the 21st of January, where we're going to honor some of our troopers for their incredible work this year. Just to give you some incredible statistics, for our local garrison in New York, we did over 125 events in 2022. I think we really turned a corner since COVID, and we're back in gear and full speed ahead. Did over 125 events in person, which was incredible. I think it was a record for us to do in 1 year. We raised over $16,000 directly for various charities. $10,000 of that was just during Comic-Con when we raised money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So we're very proud of that accomplishment for the year. And we did over 2,000 hours of community service. On each troop that we do, we put how many hours we put into it. It's the amount of hours we're at a troop times the number of troopers that are there. Mm-hmm. So that's a staggering number of volunteer hours that we did last year. And I'm just so appreciative to the men and women of our organization for putting in that kind of time and that kind of effort. And we look forward to 2023. We already have some great stuff on the schedule. For those interested in the New York area, we're doing the Intrepid on President's Day weekend, the 18th and 19th. We're going to be there as for that Kids Weekend kickoff. So there's going to be at least 20 characters roaming around the Intrepid Museum in New York City, and it's going to be very exciting. We also have the Eternal Con coming up. We have a mini con coming up in July. You can check out our schedule on 501ecg.com, and check out some of the events that we have coming up for 2023. We already have over 30 on the schedule, and we expect many, many more as different charity walks and different organizations reach out to us and book us for different events. Also, if you're in another part of the country, another part of the world, check out 501.com, 501st.com to see on an international level what the 501st is up to and what might be happening in your neck of the woods in your local garrison.
Awesome.
Chris, as always, very thorough. We appreciate you coming on. Sandy Flandina, thanks for the shout out. Chris, great job, and thanks for your support. President Kiwanis Isla Bayshore. Sandy, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that.
And that's Sandy from the Kiwanis organization. We're going to be doing another event for him later in June, and we're very excited about that. So thank you, Sandy, for the shout out.
Quick question from Mediocre Modeler. Chris, thoughts on Commander Cody in Bad Batch?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, no problem.
I know. I'm way behind on Bad Batch. I've only watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes of the first season.
You got to come back with a comment.
I'll have to catch up on Bad Batch. Yep. I know. I think I missed the boat on it.
And I still haven't heard that great news that I've been waiting for, and that's been, when is the Jar Jar Binks story coming out? So.
Oh, jeez. I'm sure in the Young Jedi Adventures they'll pop up or something.
Oh, he's gotta. I mean, he's a Lucas creation. George Lucas himself created it. That came right out of his imagination.
He's a Sith Lord. I know it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We shall see. Chris, thank you for everything that you do. We appreciate you coming on the show, and we are Star Wars fans, of course. So this cheers to you and
to the 501st. You guys did such a great job this year, and thanks a lot.
Congratulations. So here's to you guys.
Yep.
Keep up the good work.
Thanks, guys. Looking forward to a great 2023.
Oh yeah. Amen to that. So till the next time. All right, fantastic, man. We have the commander of the Empire City Garrison of the 501st Legion. So we got our Star Wars update, and that is so cool. Thank you very much. I just want to make sure that everybody also is aware that Mr. Chris Fian is also a big Battlestar Galactica 1978
a very big Battlestar Galactica.
Very big fan. He was in the trenches back in the day, and we're going to review that. We're going to have a special, and we're going to have Chris back, and we're just going to talk Galactica with him. And he's going to bring some of his pictures and stuff. We're going to reminisce. We're going to talk all about, Galactica 78 and the fandom back in his day and the things that he did with, the cast and the shows that he'd been to and the like. So, yeah, man, we're moving forward. And John 1, I believe, is in the wings.
Standing by. Live on location.
All right,
John, can you hear me? Can you hear me, John? John, are you there?
Be careful for the flying turkeys. Is that what the WKRP is?
Another one of those things that most of the kids nowadays would not understand.
It's a great show, WKRP in Cincinnati.
John, Happy New Year. Welcome to the regular show, right? We had a good time with the 6 hour. Thank you for coming on and playing along with that. And now we're back to our regular. So tell us, what do you got for us?
Well, we got some movie news. Dave Bautista stars in Knock at the Cabin. It's about a family that was approached by 4 strange guys, and they had to make a decision, or it was the end of the world. It's directed by M. Night Shyamalan. So,
are you saying that right? Because I can't say it right either.
M. Night Shyamalan. So
Shyamalan.
You know what that means?
Shyamalan. Yes. Yeah.
I see another horrible movie.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
So. But we'll see. David Bautista is pretty good, but I'll give it a chance. I'll watch it, and then I'll get disappointed like the other movie he made about the old people dying on the beach because they get old.
Oh,
what movie was that one?
What's up with that?
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Old or something aged. People go on a beach, and they can't get off the beach, and they all age together, and they just die.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Wow. Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Well, this looks like fun. Kids vs. Aliens. It's a bunch of surly kids that it's very R-rated, kids nowadays, and they fight aliens. Aliens come to Earth and they invade their neighborhood.
I can see it says F space up at the top. I'm assuming that says frack.
Fight them back. The trailer looks pretty funny. I'm gonna try to add we had like a really good show the other night with Mediocre Mata and Chris, and we're talking about really bad B movies. So I'm gonna try to put one shout out to one of them.
Yeah, that sounds
cool.
like an interesting one. Although it couldn't be any worse than what was it? Aliens versus Cowboys.
Oh God, that was bad. But there's a British one where the kids in like an apartment complex fight off aliens.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's something like take back the yard or take back the
Yeah,
neighborhood.
something like that. It was good.
The guy that
wasn't bad. It was good.
John Boyega was in it. He played the stormtrooper.
Correct. It was good. By the way, John.
Abrams, Star Wars, sorry.
By the way, I just want to bring this out because Rob Baum jumped all over us and he said it's Shyamalan. Okay, Shyamalan.
Common spelling, common reading,
yes,
I should say.
Shyamalan. Thank you, Rob. Okay, he's doing his job. I appreciate it. Shyamalan. There you go. Attack the block. Mediocre modeler jumped right on that. Perfect. All right, and Kevin, thank you.
And that comes out on demand January 20th. Season 4 is on AMC. English Discovery of Witches. It's an English show. One's a witch and the other one's a vampire, and they go against each other. And since it's English, I always fall asleep watching it. So that's on AMC right now. So check that out.
Have you watched it?
Always good.
Or have you slept? So
I slept through a lot of it.
Okay. So I'm guessing if I need to go to sleep tonight, that's the one I get to switch to.
That's the one you put on.
What's that on?
The new Anne Rice's
AMC, okay.
Mayfair Witches has also premiered on AMC. This is another Anne Rice series. The other one was
okay.
Any with the Vampire. This is a new one. These are by witches. They live in New Orleans, and I guess they fight bad people. It's just like a retake of American history when they were in New Orleans. So it's just another series now. So they're revamping that. It looks pretty good. But if you like that Anne Rice, that's the show to see. It's on AMC right now, and it's streaming it every week. So that should be good. And Buffy is returning to the small screens. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
What?
She's gonna be on a new series called The Wolf Pack. She plays an L.A. arson investigator who gets mixed up with a bunch of werewolves, and she turns into fighting them, or they try to kill her. So she fights werewolves now instead of vampires.
What?
Well,
and that will be on Paramount Plus on January 26th. So I'm looking for. I'll see that.
Well, I'll see what I can do with that one. I'll try it.
Maybe.
I'll try it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll watch it for Buffy.
Yeah.
Disney Plus will release a new series called Extraordinary. A woman lives in a world where everyone has superpowers but her. And it seems the superpower people are...
That sounds like a big bummer.
And she has to deal with them. The trailer looks pretty funny. So it takes place... It's an English show, so it looks pretty funny.
It's 18 plus.
January 24th.
Oh, 18 plus, huh? On Disney Plus.
Show.
It's an 18 plus on Disney Plus. Wow.
Yeah.
We're pushing the envelope there, Disney.
Yeah. Hey, they're getting older. They're pushing it.
We rated TV M or M before too long.
And Scooby Gang, see Velma get her own series on HBO. This is a very adult series. So Velma is very adult, and you're going to get... It's probably for the more mature audience. So it looks pretty good. So that'll be going on HBO Max on... Actually, it drops today. It starts today. So if you're bored, just turn on Velma tonight.
No HBO Max for me. Doggone it.
But I think it's a little too late for the Scooby Crew now. Like maybe 10 years too late, but maybe she can revive.
If you could, you got to get just like the Star Wars and everybody else has done. Star Trek they've started a new show for kids or for adults to get them back involved in it again. So
all the other shows except for our show.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I mean,
some of
the shows they reboot, they just shouldn't reboot. I mean, they're talking about rebooting Harry Potter. What?
Come on.
Put the money in a better show. Go into Battlestar Galactica. Let's go fight the Cylons. Or there's so many more stories we can fight.
That's it.
It's unbelievable. It's a good show. Hoping and waiting, guys. Hoping and waiting.
That's it.
Hopefully they get their act together in Peacock, and we can enjoy it. And we can complain about that series.
I don't know. I don't think I could.
At least
even if it's bad, I don't think I can complain. At least they've done something.
I just say,
Yeah.
as long as it's on,
Yeah.
I'll be happy. So, Amazon's animated D&D series, The Legendary Vox Machina Season 2, will premiere on
Ooh.
January 20th. This is a pretty good series. It's another adult series. These guys made this cartoon. They were devout DVD players, D&D players. So this will tie into the Dungeon and Dragon movies coming out in April. And they're going to put another series, Dungeon and Dragon series, will be coming out later on this year or next year on Paramount. So Dungeon and Dragon is finally going to get its due. Hopefully. So we shall see. And happy birthday to Disney. And to celebrate their 100th birthday, Mickey and friends will take over some Marvel superhero covers. Starting in Amazing Spider-Man number 17. So I think Donald Duck will don the outfit of Spider-Man. So he's a good
There's a Captain America one.
covers. So if you see any, grab them. They might be worth something. So it's a good pick. And my picks for comics this month are Scarlet Witch number 1, for obvious reasons. Batman One Bad Day, Bane number 1. This will tell the story of Bane. He was the bad guy that broke Batman's back. And they go on how he grew up, what happened to him. So it looks like a pretty good series. I would definitely get that. And the story of the villain. And Sins of Sinister, number 1. Mr. Sinister will finally make a return in the X-Men series. This is about Mr. Sinister going after the X-Men. And he's a very good bad guy. So I would look at him. And that's coming out this month. And I would say the 501st Legion, good job. It's great to help charity work. I give a lot to charity, help out with work and everything. And you guys did a great job. So remember, fans feed the fleet. And if you see a trooper, thank him.
Thank a trooper. Yeah, there you go.
Thank a trooper. That's right.
Thank a trooper. We'll make it a hashtag, and we'll be famous.
Yes.
Thank a trooper. Yep.
That's right. John, thank you as usual. You're on top of the game. And you got us a guest.
That stunt woman that you've got coming up on for us is just
golden,
amazing,
golden. So
John,
I
messaged her, so she should be pretty good. Hopefully, I have to call her. Maybe I'll give her a call.
All I got to
tomorrow.
say is she played an Ovion. She played Cetal, which is the number 2 Ovion. I'm like, no,
and the original Star Trek,
and
the original Star Trek.
Yep.
So she did a lot of work.
Yeah,
she was a stand-in for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. So John,
she's gonna be great.
Lock that down, man, because we definitely want that. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Everybody needs to know that John's a big player in the IFB team. Does a lot of our bookings. So really appreciate all the work. Thank you, John, and Happy New Year.
She's gonna be at TrekCon in May.
Cool.
On Hotbug. There's gonna be a Trek
convention.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, in May.
Where?
Keep us posted on that.
Did you say Hoboken?
So I got the date, and she's going to be there, and a couple other actors too from Star Trek. So it should be good.
Cool.
Ooh, keep us posted.
I will.
All right,
buddy.
Thanks, John. Here's to you.
Here's to you.
All right, guys. Have a good
Thanks,
night.
John.
Fans for the fleet.
Fans for the fleet. All right, so Alchemisto, thanks for joining us, man. If you want to see that Defiance episode, just go right into the rerun list. It's up. Check that out. He also mentioned that Disney is rumored to be looking to pick up WWE, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, that would be
interesting.
something.
Yeah. This Sunday, The Last of Us premieres. Hey, Brian, thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you coming on live. 501st getting their own Lego set. Man, where were you before when we had Chris Fian on? That's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't hear that one.
Wow. Kevin, you're a 501st SoCal member. Proud of it. Kevin, you may not have known that I was in the ECG for 6 years, so I trooped as well. So very cool stuff, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. In the right hands of a legit genre auteur like Jon Favreau, good BSG reboot, 100%. That's exactly the formula, Al. Agreed. Yep. So let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. But in the meantime, you guys know that Tipsy Toaster Productions is with Fiat Lux Productions and Spartan Red, and G-Force is teaming up to bring you the Stranded Warrior. So that's happening.
Yep.
That's happening.
We got tired of waiting for Hollywood.
Well,
so.
we're gonna throw a little fan film your way, the fan way, and we've locked down the shooting location. So we're gonna be putting up a crowdfunder soon, and we
we'll
have
also give out the dates for anybody who wants to show up as a colonial warrior, because we'll need some background people,
actors. So. Yeah, background actors. So if anybody has,
we'll feed you, but that's all we can do for you. Sorry.
1978. We'll make sure that you get a little bit of screen time and IMDb credit. So anybody that has a colonial warrior 1978 uniform, you're going to be on call for our shoot, and so there's going to be a briefing scene
in New York.
That's right, baby, where it counts. And not Wyoming, but in
it'd be
New
a whole
York
lot
City.
cheaper if it was in Wyoming, but it might be a little more expensive to fly out there.
Yeah, middle of nowhere, in where the right. Yeah, never mind.
The tumbleweed, the crash scene would be really interesting, really easy to do. We're just in the middle of a prairie somewhere. We can just pull off the side of the road and find one of those. Not a problem. A little hard to do that in New York, isn't it?
So so that's happening, guys. We're doing it. We're moving forward. We started getting the costumes started coming in. So we got those.
Yep.
And
costumes, patches. We got the new.
We got the helmet. We got some other props. A lot of other props.
Prop I just got in today.
Yeah, we got this. This is an exclusive. This is part of it's part of the storyline.
Yep.
Part of the storyline for Captain Martin.
So Captain Martin, you'll have to watch the movie to figure out what it is. But
we'll find out. We'll find out. So it's happening, guys. It is happening.
The Epsilon of Delphi in there too. So we got a lot of history involved in this thing, which is kind of fun. I've really had a good time putting it in, writing it in. There's been a lot of Greek history and a lot of mythological, and the names we've researched, and it's just been that part of this whole thing has just been so much fun, and I am sweating my off about filming it.
So we are. We're gathering steam. We're making it happen. The shooting script is ready and done, and we started casting already. So casting is happening. We have some really, really good talent. So we've
got SAG-AFTRA actors, which was like, really? You want to do this? I said, sounds great for us, because Lord knows I can't act. We don't want that.
Yeah, Mike, we know about that as well. Thanks for joining us and putting something up. Yeah, you guys, if you're watching, don't hesitate to drop a comment so we can recognize you out there. Appreciate you watching.
And definitely, if you haven't had a chance to yet, hopefully we're going to watch a little bit of a fan film tonight. So we were talking about our fan film. There's a brand new fan film out there that Johnny K and Chaotica Studios has done. And they are, he's done some stuff with Farragut Forward and some things like that, and it's always blown me away with the lighting techniques and everything else that he does. Like I'm weird like that. Everybody else watches the movie, I'm like watching the lighting techniques, and hey, how much smoke did he use, and why did he put that there, and how did he get that, how did he get that shadow on that side of the face, and that's the kind of. Yeah. That's the kind of weird stuff I look at when I watch a movie, and I just, my wife and I can't watch a movie anymore together, so I just like, well, that sucked. But anyways, so fan films are a thing, and
they are.
We're gonna I've already told Johnny I'm gonna pick his brain after we get done here too, but there's ways to continue your fandom. And that's what we're trying to do in regards to Battlestar Galactica. There's and that's just, I mean, people make Star Trek and people make Battlestar, and then there's a number of people who make Batman shows, and this one was really good, by the way. Not just because he's on, by the way. Anyway, and then just it's just amazing that the stories that come out of people and the talent that people have, and when you look at it, you have to sit there and look at it and go, you know what? These people aren't getting paid. They're doing it for the love of the fandom. And that's what really does something, for the fandoms. That shows that people want those things to come out more. People want more about. I mean, we've got a guy, here on that follows us all the time. I think it's Jeff. I think Jeff's doing it right. I keep forgetting. I get a couple names mixed up. Sorry, but he's building a Batmobile. He's already built he's built a Ghostbusters car, and now he's showing us step by step. He's pulling an engine out of out of a car that's like high performance. He's just welding and putting things together. And then we got Baz, who builds a 1-to-1 Battlestar Galactica Viper in his garage in Australia, and he's almost getting done with that. And then we've got Team BSG Viper, who's built a 1-to-1 scale 1978 Viper, and they take that to cons and everything else. I mean, there's super fans out there. There are people out there that really has been involved in a number of projects that we've covered before, including some Star Trek stuff. So,
and we had him on the show.
We had him on the show a little while back for the Star Trek Farragut Forward. Can afford to build a background, so that scares the snot out of me there too.
We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. We're just gonna get the right cameras. We're gonna be fine.
Yeah, the right cameras and the right people to run them. I run cameras, but I don't think there's a lot of people that run cameras for green screen that well. I don't think I could. Let's put it that way.
Anyways, make it work.
I digress. So, anyways, without further ado, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's bring him on. Let's see if I can get his audio to work too at the same time.
Johnny, what's up?
Cheers, guys.
There you go. Which one you got?
This is an Iron Maiden IPA.
Oh, yes. I've seen that the other day.
Ooh.
This was given to me as a gift today at the office, and I thought, you guys are cracking some beers. I'll crack some beers with you today.
Outstanding.
Cheers, you, sir. Fans
Good
to the fleet.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Cool. Very cool. So
thank you, man. Thanks a lot. That was, our final output for that movie was YouTube. So we always knew YouTube was going to crush, whatever final movie we put together. So it was kind of a thin line to walk on the whole time. How much do you crush those blacks, knowing that YouTube is going to keep crushing them, because you don't want to deteriorate and destroy your own image too much before YouTube gets a hold of it. So it was shooting in the dark was a pretty big challenge, actually.
Oh, it is. And it's very, very well done. So highly recommended. And I believe that we're going to be able to do a screening.
Yeah.
Johnny, is that correct? We're going to be able to put it up and talk into it, or talk over, walk us through some of that.
Days, we would mail off, film. I would try to take pictures of my toys, and we did a photo shoot. And the suit, that bat suit, actually really started the whole process, what became the Oath. We got the suit, we shot it, I loved it, and pretty quickly decided we needed to write a short film around that suit. And just me being a huge Batman fan, specifically Batman '89, I love the Tim Burton films. I knew it was going to be a prequel for Batman right off. And I also knew Batman fans will remember the name Johnny Gobbs. It was a name of one of the muggers referenced at the start of the film. Johnny Gobbs got ripped and took a walk off a roof. And I think for 30 some years in the back of my head, I've always wondered, I wonder what happened the night Johnny Gobbs died. And fast forward to when we made the Oath, and I knew we were going to set our movie on the night Johnny Gobbs took a walk off a roof. And we still don't know how he died. I won't spoil the movie too much, but that's the setting of our movie. And it was designed kind of as a prequel to lead right into Batman '89. And one of my favorite comments that I've read on YouTube so far, and by the way, the name of the film is The Oath, a Batman fan film.
Batman, is that how it works?
That's right. We're set one week right before Batman '89. So the idea is you can watch The Oath and then you can go watch Batman '89, and the idea is they'll blend right into each other.
That's something. So I mean, you gave it a full wrap. I mean, you explained the whole reason for it. How long did it take you to shoot it?
Yeah, well, the principal photography, which is all the night shoots you saw in the film, that was actually all done in 3 nights. 3 very, very long nights.
Wow.
We started around, we shot it in the wintertime, so it got dark pretty early. But yeah, cameras started rolling we shot in Petersburg, Virginia, by the way, which is just south of Richmond. And we started rolling cameras about 6 p.m. each night, and we would roll straight through until 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I think one night we went till 5 in the morning. So, I mean, those are some pretty serious, it's a non-union production. So I know there's some union folks who cringed when they heard some of those hours. But it was 3 very, very long nights. We had rain one night and a few weather concerns, but the bulk of the movie was shot in those 3 nights. And then, of course, we shot the apartment scene, which is the last scene in the movie. That was our only interior, and we shot that about a month later. And then a lot of the inserts and some of the Batman stuff, the close-ups, that type of thing, we actually shot over the course of several months after that. And then I think the last insert shot we put into the film was actually shot about 9 months after we shot all the Petersburg street scenes. So all told, this was about almost a year of pre-production and almost a year of post-production. So about 2 years to get this, what's ultimately a 17.5-minute YouTube video out there, but wouldn't do it any other way. So
I hate to interrupt, but what I'm going to do is, looks like we together later. So, oh, wait a minute. Is it coming back up again? No.
Yeah,
no,
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. No. Yes.
Right. Yes. I don't know. I think so. Guys,
let us know.
Let us know, because we're prepared to start flipping switches. We are broadcasting well. Our bandwidths are good. There must be something going on the outside.
It's got to be good, because, I mean, if Johnny's coming in perfect.
Yeah. We have no problems, but we're looking into it, guys. We're getting some word that out
I'm
in
thinking
Texas
it's Restream.
and West Coast might be having some issues.
Oh, yeah. Does anybody on here non-West Coast is having a good time?
Did we break the internet?
Is that break the internet?
I think Johnny, you came on and we broke the internet. So there's another. You put that onto the resume. Broke internet on IFB.
Is all those guys were my number one pick, for each of their roles. I knew exactly who I wanted for each of those. The real question was, did they want to be involved, and were they available? And I reached out to all of them, said, I got a role for you. Are you up for it? And across the board, they all were available and interested. So I got my top picks all the way across the board, and we locked the cast in pretty early. That then allowed me to go back to the script and actually tweak each of those roles, tweak the script specifically for those actors. So that was, hugely beneficial to kind of play to their strengths. And I think they all just completely knocked it out of the park. They exceeded my expectations, and they did exactly what was required of them. And I love those guys. So.
And they did, and it shows. That makes a big difference when when you cast the right individual, not only for their looks, but also for their talent.
And Jerry and Oz, actually, I think all the guys, and definitely Mike Stumbo, who's a huge Superman fan. All those guys are into sci-fi and comics. Yeah. What cool. You got? You got a role for them?
Well, sure. That it's possible. Chris and I have gone back and forth with the idea of, what's it like when you have someone involved in your project that is a professional. So they bring, that box is checked. Now add to that the element of they happen to be, comic book fans, or they happen to be or science fiction fans. I always envision somebody like that, and what I get is a different sense of passion, right? It's not just professional, it's also they love the genre, and it doesn't mean that you have to be. What I'm saying is that it brings a different element to what we end up seeing on the screen. Do you agree?
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we see that a lot with the Star Trek fan production we're shooting, right now, Farragut Forward. I mean, without exception, everyone who's working on that project, and that's probably total 40, 50 people or more, ever got the assignment. He just went and watched Batman 89 a bunch of times. He'd seen it all through his life, but he went to go do his research and watch the movie. And then on the opposite side of that was Jerry Morgan, who's our lead, and he didn't watch Batman 89 at all. He saw it back in the day, but he didn't watch it to prepare because he didn't want to see something in the movie that would kind of affect his performance or taint, how he was coming at it. He was just going to basically rely on, the direction he got on set. So he kind of ignored Batman 89 while we made The Oath. And then after, we filmed it, he obviously went back.
Oh, sure. Oz is on, he's on watching live with us. Oz, thank you for tuning in. Great stuff out there. Really, really good stuff. And appreciate you're taking the time out and supporting. And
but as a writer, you always kind of keep it in the back of your mind. doors for yourself. It's like how, if I wanted to do a sequel one day, how further adventures of Sergeant Frank Kelly and company, and they've all across the board said, yeah, let's maybe do another one. But right now it's all about Farragut, for the rest of this year, and then we'll look at maybe coming back and doing a sequel to The Oath. And then I've also got an unfinished short film out there right now that's been on my desk for a couple years. It's called Red Eagle 1, and we shot the bulk of that in 2020. And we shot a few more scenes a little later on, and I'm not going to let it go too far to the back burner as we're doing Batman and Star Trek and all these fan films. It's actually an original film, original content, and will give me maybe a break from working with other people's IP for a little while, because I've been doing a lot of that lately. So
other people's stuff.
Yeah, other IPs. Yeah. So what is? Can you tell us a little bit about your project then?
Yeah, which one do you want to hear about?
Oh, the one that you say you've been holding back on.
Yeah, Red Eagle 1. Actually, it's the overall story. It's about now, so it might be and show some progression and growth all in a little short film.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So that's been in the bank now for a few years. Yeah. How long do you think it'll take you to finish it? Perfect world.
Oh, this year, perfect world. It'll be done in calendar year 2023. If you picture our production calendar of Farragut Forward, picture it like a minefield. And my goal is to get from this end of the minefield through the mines, navigating through all that to get to the other side. Ideally, I can be able to tackle some scenes of Red Eagle 1 this calendar year as we're kind of weaving through the Farragut production schedule. That's a perfect world. The other thing is, Farragut, we crowdfunded, and we're still active on Indiegogo, and we've raised somewhere around 40 grand for Farragut. So we do have stakeholders, we have investors, we have folks who have contributed money to that film to make sure it happens on schedule, et cetera. So, we kind of have to cater to the paying audience first. Red Eagle 1 was self-financed, by me. There's no investors banging on the door saying, hey, we gave you good money for this. Where's the product? Not that they're doing that for Farragut yet, but we want to make sure, obviously.
Keyword yet.
yeah, you never know, right? But we want to obviously make sure we got our priorities straight for that. So I'm hoping to be able to multitask. And another thing with me is I actually like to bounce.
Day job?
It is not what I do day job. No, I'm actually a consultant for the government. We do a lot of training and preparedness activities and stuff for state and local law enforcement and the federal government. And that's my day job, which is completely different than the creative itch of filmmaking. So, but yeah, I do own Chaotica Studios. It's not just a hobby. If you're reporting to the IRS about it, it's probably not a hobby anymore. But
it's mushroomed into something else.
It's mushroomed, and I have C stands throughout the house as if they're furniture pieces. So yeah, it's mushroomed into a whole other thing. But it's been great. I grew up as an artist. I used to love to draw. When I became a teenager, I learned that girls like guys who play guitar. So I grabbed a guitar and quickly became a musician as fast as I could, and did that for a bunch of years, and then got into photography. And now here we are with filmmaking, which actually kind of wraps all those things in together. So it's kind of in my DNA, if you know what I mean.
Making it work.
That's right.
So, Tipsy Toaster, are we ready? Was there weekend shooting, or was it all weekday? How'd you plan that out?
Yeah, we planned it around Veterans Day weekend of 2021. So we had a three-day weekend for a lot of the folks. And also, by the way, a lot of the guys on our cast and crew were veterans. So, the first night of our shoot was Veterans Day, and we kind of had to, that's how we started our whole shoot, just making sure to thank those guys. Jerry Morgan, who is our star, our lead, he's a veteran of Uncle Sam's Marine Corps and a very proud Marine. Oz was with the Seabees in the Navy. And then we also had a lot of the crew. That's right. And we had a lot of the crew, John Broughton, who you guys know from Farragut, former Navy, and some of the other folks around the set we're blessed to have a lot of veterans around the set. And just shooting on Veterans Day, we kind of started things off just thanking those guys before we put them through hell for the next 3 days.
All right, outstanding. A good.
You're ready.
Let's do it. Let it rip. The Oath. All right.
One thing
is the
right. Actually, I was just about to ask that piece there. I don't think we put that on ours.
Right.
You're gonna say something, Johnny?
Oh, I was just going to say, if we're watching it without audio, I'll give a shout out to What You're Missing. And if you've not seen The Oath, definitely go check it out with audio for sure. It'll be a different experience than me just talking through the whole thing. But we've got a fantastic opening credits scene here, and it features an incredible score, and that's one of the big selling points of the movie.
I'll put it up.
Oh, you got echo.
I'm going to echo because I just turned the audio on, so I'm going to shut up now. It's all you, Pete.
Okay. Here we go. All right, Johnny. Ready?
That's our rip-off of the Warner Brothers logo, if you notice. It's from '89.
Chris, the audio is... Yeah. Okay, so Johnny's echoing.
Better?
I don't know. Johnny, how we doing?
Can you hear me now?
We can, but he's echoing.
All right, well, we'll just have to go without audio. It's going to loop. I've got a loop I got to fix, and I haven't done it yet.
Okay. Are you killing us? I can see your control screen. Take that off.
What was that?
Screen, I can see your screen. Take that off. There we go. I see the credits, man.
All about the music.
All right, so you gave the credits, right? You gave the two creators, right? You gave them both, put them both up the way it's supposed to be. Very good. This is cool.
I don't know if you can see it behind me.
Police officers, I was like, oh, all right. I like their the get-ups.
His ID says Johnny Gobbs.
Yeah, those cop costumes were actually a lot more complex and expensive than the Batman costume.
I don't know, Sarge.
I didn't know if you actually, they look like they're the real highway patrol jackets, the coats, and if they are, I know they're super expensive to get. Never mind the boots.
Yeah, the boots probably cost almost as much as the coats, and the coats we had brought in from the UK.
Oh, you did? Wow.
It's not gonna pay for itself, huh?
Yeah, the badges were custom made. They're actual Gotham City Police Department badges. We had to have custom created.
And he's only promoting his own guys. It's not fair.
Same thing with the patch on the sleeve.
Maybe that Wayne Foundation money will
Yeah, I think those two costumes came in around. They were over 1,000, probably close to 1,200 or 1,400 each.
Yeah, that's what struck me like immediately as soon as I saw them, and then that one, the close-ups here that you're doing on them, and I noticed the coats and the dialogue and the looks. I was like, this is awesome, man. This is good.
And
I was noticing the smoke.
All the smoke. That was obviously big. Batman '89. Throwback as well. When you watch that movie, there's literally smoke in every frame of that movie. It's in the background of every single shot. So I was afraid we were going to overdo the smoke in the Oath, but I'm happy with it.
Nah.
Go check it out. Let's wait for backup. I'll go with you.
Nah.
These are money shots, man. This is just incredible.
Well, thank you. You see the lights on in that factory?
Grissom's guys don't play around.
They were cutting ceramic tile in there.
Really?
It wrecked our audio.
Did you dub over it?
We re-recorded the entire movie in ADR.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Yeah, some of it we used. We salvaged some of the original audio, but we definitely needed some help with ADR here and there. Because
Whose pet mice were those?
That's actually a shot. That's the only shot in this movie that I did not shoot myself. So I saw that shot. I wanted a little bit of wildlife, and I found that shot online. I licensed it, stuck it in, I color graded it, and it blended in with the rest of the movie. But that's the only shot in the film that I didn't shoot.
Oh, look at that. That's awesome.
This is all in a historic ironworks building down in Petersburg. So this is, it's not a set, obviously. This is just a real world building that exists. And, we have permission from the owner to get in there and basically have free reign. And there's so many cool gears and cogs and, you know, post-Civil War era stuff, crumbling brick.
Watch out for the bat.
And of course, that's Mike Stumpo from Killer of Grassy Ridge, the first film.
Yep, and there's Batman.
There's some subtle Batman in there.
Oh, yeah.
That whole skyline back there is digital. That was added in post. That's fake skyline.
The lighting. That's all I got.
I mean, look at like where he is, right? The actual set, you know, the building that you used. I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's that ironwork. I'm not even sure what that piece of machinery is, but it's a large rusted piece of iron, which we scouted out. It's just gorgeous. It looks like a cauldron or something.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Maybe a furnace. It's an ironwork. I'm sure. I'm not sure what it was actually. Of course, that's our mobster Arcanum.
Okay, Frank, you can do this.
You're late.
Yep.
This is actually my favorite shot in the film, and you can tell it's my favorite shot because I stay on it for about 8 seconds too long. We're still on it.
This is great.
That was that's not a Batman. Was actually shot on an LED screen, similar to how they shoot DeLorean for the ball.
Good. Carl Grissom sends his thanks.
Shot's great.
The first time's always the hardest. Are we going to have a problem?
No.
Hey, it's okay to do a bad thing every now and then. You just got to do enough good things to make up for it.
There was a lot of real trash in that alley. We had to sweep it out. We could bring in our fake trash.
Just keep it coming.
Yeah. See you next week. Same time.
I remember the quote from the line.
This is cool.
I think everybody on the cast and crew took a turn trying to throw that battery around. It was a competition. This was probably 26 degrees. We had Oz down on the ground for hours and hours.
I had to do this for my wife. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I had no choice.
There's always a choice.
Oz is still on the ground. 6 hours later. No pulse.
I'll be watching.
Sarge? You took down Jimmy Atlas.
Let's go with it, Sarge. We shot that. That's one of the last scenes in the movie. And we shot that on the very first night.
Another sighting of the so-called Batman has been reported. The 7th sighting in just under a month. Witnesses report that the man was dressed as a giant bat.
Giant bat.
That's his real wife. Real life. That's a
Oh,
picture
wow.
of Jerry, his Marine Corps days. This was the only scene in the movie we actually shot with heat when we weren't outside freezing.
No kidding.
Yeah. Gordon and Den are starting a task force. They want me on it. Yeah. See you Monday.
Frank? Is everything okay?
That's the voice of Jerry's wife, Paula. She gave us a line.
Yeah, babe. It's gonna be okay.
Awesome.
I recommend watching it without me talking through it.
No way. More fun this way.
It might be a
This is so-
different
yeah.
experience if you don't have somebody in your ear about it.
Johnny, we had a bunch of comments that were being posted as we were watching. Of course, a lot of compliments to your abilities and all the cast. Everybody was in it. It's really, really well done. So kudos. There was a question about music. Where did you get the background music for this?
Yeah, we had three composers work on the film. The primary composer who we use the most music from is an Italian guy who lives in France, and his name is Francesco Di Andrea. And I licensed some of his music that I found online as temp tracks during the edit because I love to edit to music. I like to have some placeholder music in there just to kind of help fill out the tone of the scene. And normally, how it works is whatever music I use as temp tracks is probably 9 times out of 10 what I end up going with in the final product because I'm so used to hearing it. And Francesco was in there from day one, especially with that opening theme and the closing theme that's playing over the credits. It's a great track called March of the Giants. And I licensed his music, got in touch with him, and actually had him score some of the original music for the film. So he scored all the music for the fight scene that was created for our movie. And then the two other composers we used are Jordan Hatfield and Jacob Piatris, who's in Poland, actually. And we used one track from each of those guys to kind of fill in the gaps. The real tense music when Sergeant Kelly and Jimmy Atlas, the mobster, when those guys were having their kind of bribe encounter, the music that was playing under that came from one of those guys. And here's actually on the screen now, here's some of the music that we used. But yeah, it all just kind of came from folks on the internet using and licensing their music. And then in the case of Francesco, he actually gave us an original score for the fight scene.
Wow. Now, when I watched this earlier today, I actually went back to, I couldn't help it, but at the end where the paperwork comes up, how did you decide to make the check 25,000? Why wasn't it something else?
It was 35,000 actually.
Oh, it's 35.
You're not paying attention there, Pete.
Well, I tried to go back, and I mean, you watch it on YouTube, and it's on the computer, but I tried to go back. So okay, good, it's 35. Thank you. How did you decide 35?
You're the first person. We're a month into this, and we've got hundreds of comments on YouTube and 200,000 views, and you're the first person to ask that. So it's 35,000, and it was actually kind of kept out of focus. The focus of the camera on that shot was on the name Bruce Wayne more so than the amount of the check, because I didn't want people to really start thinking about the amount on the check. Couple things. Batman 89 is actually not set in 1989. It's kind of anachronistic, right? You got the villains and the goons who are dressed right out of the 40s. You have Vicky Vale, Kim Basinger's character, who is a little modern, but overall the movie is not actually set in 1989. It's set in a weird time. But what I did was I looked at basically the average salary for a sergeant in the NYPD in today's dollars, and then I backed that up to basically get to around $35,000 would basically be 1 year's salary for a big city cop such as NYPD, a big city sergeant. That's basically a year's worth of salary. So I kind of ended up around $35K because I didn't want to give him $1 million, and I didn't want to give him, Bruce Wayne can do a little better than $800 or something. So I needed to find something in between those two, and I figured a kind of an annual salary for an average big city cop sergeant would be a good spot to kind of back into. So that's how we got the 35K.
Excellent. I expected you to give me a great answer like that. And then, of course, the regular paperwork, there was the newspaper. I went back and I looked at the newspaper, and the article, it's about, it's about what was going on. Like it's about the cop hero. So I went back and I was like, oh, wow. So you guys actually wrote that piece out. So I freeze framed that. So who wrote that up?
Pete, that entire newspaper, the entire front page of that newspaper has about 15 or 20 articles that are all about what's going on in Gotham City at that exact time. So wow. It's like it's a fanboy's fantasy. It's just such a nerdy thing to do. But if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right. What I didn't want to do was just grab a copy of the New York Times and, put the Gotham Globe on top of it and then put our one article in the middle. But then over to the left, it says something about, Trump or Biden or, what I mean? I didn't want to do it like that. So we said, no, we're just going to create a brand new newspaper from that time. So I actually went back to some of the props that they used in 89 and looked at what some of those articles were about. And we actually ended up writing our own articles just for that shot. So yeah, the whole newspaper is loaded with with articles from that time. Talks about Harvey Dent as the new district attorney. It talks about the mayor's bicentennial birthday party he wants to have for Gotham City. There's articles about all that stuff.
All right, so now the perfect follow up to this is, where does that stuff end up? Where do all of these, the costumes and the props and what happens to all that?
So we actually had to sign a waiver for the badges. Those cop badges, they're legit police badges, and the manufacturer of those made us sign a waiver that said we would destroy them after production, or they would remain in the hands of the production team. So we had to actually sign that off. They're in a box, actually about 10 feet from me right now. So we've kept everything. The costumes aren't going anywhere, just in case we do a sequel. We don't want to have to recreate too much, so we're going to hang on to them. Jerry's police coat did get pretty beaten up. He was getting roughed up by Batman and slammed against that brick wall for hours. And the leather coat took a beating, but that's all right. That's weathering, free weathering. It's all still here. A couple things we offered up on Indiegogo as perks: the prototype painting that established Gotham City at the beginning. That went to a bidder, I guess you could say, or a backer on Indiegogo. And the rest of the props they're around, and some of the cast expressed some interest in having some little pieces of memorabilia. I know the caution tape that you see, or the police tape that you see going across the alley in the very first scene. A lot of guys were taking pieces of that to stuff in their pockets and take home with them as a little cheap memento. And we got about 800 yards of it, so there's plenty. But yeah, they're around. Props are around.
So what about the newspaper? Who got the newspaper?
Oh, it's all here. It's all here. The newspaper is here. Aside from what the guys took home, the newspaper is definitely here with me. And there was actually, I think we did 4 or 5 copies of it.
Cool.
Well, it's a film shoot, right? You don't want to just have the one and then show up and somebody spills coffee on it and now you're up the creek, right? So we had multiple copies of it. But yeah, I think all those are here. The Vogue magazine, I don't know if you noticed it in the very last scene.
Yeah.
There's a Vogue magazine. That's from 1989. That's the same magazine that Jack Nicholson has his foot propped up on the first time you see him in the movie. So
nice.
That's the same. It's the same Vogue magazine. It's got Jerry Hall on the cover, who played Carl Grissom's girlfriend, and Jack Palance, and also Jack Nicholson's girlfriend. So that's a prop that's here with me. Yeah, I think most of it I still got in a box here. It's not going too far.
That's the attention to detail stuff that's so cool. It's those little tidbits that most people don't get. I mean, we like to ask, why'd you choose this magazine? That magazine?
Yeah.
Most people just watch the movie and but it's the tidbits and the attention to detail that makes the pride. Makes you proud in your work, and then it's just so much fun looking at stuff. I mean, I'm having a great time looking stuff up on ours. So
it's Easter eggs, when the police dispatcher comes on the radio and says Jimmy Atlas has been spotted at the corner of First and Pratt. When you hear that, you just assume those are street names, and you assume First Street is 1ST, First, right? But in the script, that's actually spelled FURST, and that's an homage to Anton Furst, who is the late production designer for Batman '89. And Pratt is a homage to Roger Pratt, who is the director of photography for Batman '89. So when Jimmy Atlas is at the corner of First and Pratt, that's for Anton Furst and Roger Pratt. Roger Pratt, actually, he went on to shoot a couple of the Harry Potter films, after Batman. So yeah, there's a lot of Easter eggs in there.
Very cool. Well, that's the kind of stuff that we really enjoy.
And then,
so we're getting a lot of comments. Everybody's enjoying it. Hope you guys go back and watch it on your own, of course. John McCartney, congratulations. Awesome props and costume work. Sounds like Elfman, Danny Elfman, I guess, is what Paul's mentioning here. So, I mean, a lot of kudos. Everybody enjoyed it. Hope you guys go back and watch it again. I have the Stepped On Wanted poster. Of course, Oz. That's a good one to have. Oh, yeah. Oh, storyboards? You have actually...
Yeah, so this is the pre-production. So he's sent us a bunch of really great photos. And this is one of the things that we've been bouncing back and forth on ours. We do you go out and hire somebody for this? Or how far do you go? So I love the storyboards. So can you tell us a little about, what's your opinion on storyboards? And
Sure. Yeah, so what you're looking at right up front, shout out to artist Jason White. That's who did these storyboards for us. Jason is a very talented artist. He's got his own comic book out there. Super, super accomplished artist, as if you can't tell by his storyboards because they look like
really
comic
cool.
panels. They're gorgeous, right? And Jason is also a very accomplished martial artist, and he was our fight choreographer for The Oath. So when he and I started talking about how we were going to work the fight out, especially when our actors, Oz is in Georgia, Jerry is kind of in the Richmond area, and then Guillermo is up here in the DC area. So all of our actors live far apart. And based on our budget, it was hard to get everybody together for rehearsals and block the fight out in advance. It was just really tough to do that. So we worked with the fight choreographer to kind of, sketch everything out. And he volunteered. He said, "Hey, do you mind if I, draw storyboards for this? Just kind of how I see it." And I said, "Oh, brother, please," because I knew he was such a talented artist and I wanted to see what he came up with. So he cranked out these storyboards. They're beautiful. I love them. They're art, in their own right. So that's kind of the story behind these storyboards. Now, how I personally feel about storyboards, I actually have a hard time outsourcing my storyboards to somebody else. And that's just because most of the projects that I work on, I write, and then I also shoot and direct. So I've probably had it in my head how I see that, for a while before we actually, get into the storyboarding process. And for me I can sketch it out chicken scratch, and I enjoy doing that. It's more of a reference for me how I'm going to shoot it, but it's still the images that I see in my head that I'm putting down on paper. I have a kind of a hard time outsourcing that to somebody else because you either have to kind of sit with them over their shoulder and, communicate exactly every single thing you see, or else, they're artists. They're going to kind of go off and, draw the pictures that they see in their head, which might be different than the pictures I see in my head. So when I do storyboards, I typically scratch them out myself. They don't look as professional and nice as Jason's for sure. But, maybe they work. They're functional,
Yeah, we were looking at an article the other day in regards to some of the guy who did the Antonio Banderas was the Desperado movie, I think it is. I can't remember the name of the movie, but the person who directed that or did the storyboards for that, he did what they call video storyboards. He just went in and roughly did the video of the entire movie and just did it that way. I was like, that's pretty interesting. And that's something I can do. I cannot draw.
Yeah. I think they did. Yeah, it's there's a lot of different ways to previs. You can do it digitally now with 3D mock-ups and all that. And I think Robert Rodriguez and Jon Favreau, those guys with The Mandalorian, they were doing a lot of previs, just shooting action figures, going out in the backyard and setting up Star Wars action figures and just shooting. And I mean, it's whatever gets the point across, it all works. So,
yep. Here's some of the uniform items. Amazing.
Yeah, so that's the components of the Gotham cop costume on the left. The image on the right, that's not from The Oath. That's actually from Batman '89. So that's a credit Warner Brothers shot there on the right. That's not us, but it just shows the detail that we tried to put together. The sleeve patch there, the GCPD patch, is made by a guy named Patch Czar, who's here in Virginia. He specializes in small runs of unique patches that you just can't find anywhere else. And he created 2 of those GCPD police patches for us. They look exactly like what was used in '89. And then he told me a couple weeks ago, after The Oath came out, he actually got inundated from people of the internet asking for Gotham City Police patches. And he had to put a statement out and said, "I love the movie. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, but we're not offering these to anybody else." He just made them for the movie because he was getting inundated pretty hard with requests for patches. Yeah. So. Yeah, that's a close up. Those are the badges we needed to either destroy or never let go of. So,
surprised I wouldn't tell them, hey, we're going to encase them in lucite, so that's not destroyed, but they're not being able to be used again. So,
right. Sergeant Kelly's badge number is 1014. 14 is my lucky number. It finds its way into every creative project I do. There's always a 14 in there somewhere. It's kind of a weird obsessive OCD thing, but 14 is always in my project.
Very cool.
1289 have any specific
'89, definitely. You can imagine
Right.
what '89 is. 12, not so much. 12 is the month of my birth. 14 is the day of my birth. 12 is the month of my birth, and '89 is for Batman '89. That's probably where my brain was going. You're taking me back like at least 2 years here, so it's yeah, that's a set decoration. That's actually a newspaper box in Petersburg that our set deck crew decked out. You see the Gotham is for lovers, and that's a flyer up in, yeah, you'll recognize that, Chris. That's a Virginia is for lovers, covered up with Gotham is for lovers, and up in the upper right, that's a flyer to celebrate Gotham's bicentennial street festival that's up and coming. Which, of course, in Batman '89, that's where the Joker shows up with his balloons. That's the same event, and then the election poster or election sticker for Harvey Dent there. So lots of little details.
Details.
That's right. That's the bat suit. The bat suit was created down in Colombia by Colombia, South America. I say that sometimes, and people are like, South Carolina? I'm like, no, South America. But, it's a company called The Cave Creature Workshop, and they did a great job with that bat suit. And it weighs about 25 pounds. That's 25 pounds of rubber.
Wow.
He couldn't hear in it. He had no peripheral vision. Had a hard time, moving his arms, kicking, and we had him in that suit at least 8 or 9 hours one night, if not two nights in a row. And Guillermo, he was a trooper. He put up with a lot in that bat suit.
Cool. That's something. Oh, and this is that that's the actual location that you shot in. I guess daytime.
Yeah, that is. And the upper right,
wow.
Upper right is that's the alley where our mobster and our cop have the bribe encounter. That's that alley. You recognize the red door, and that's me. That's our location coordinator in the middle, Bobby Lynch, who lives in Petersburg and helped us find a lot of the locations. And it looks like I'm talking about how to throw Guillermo off a roof or something there. And then down below, that's that ironworks building that had all the cool irons and ironworks and gears and all.
Yeah.
Fourth draft, huh?
Yep. What's the date on that? I can't see it on my screen.
2021, August 31st.
August 31.
Yeah, so that was about 3 months before we shot, and we actually shot The Oath about 3 weeks after that tragic accident on the set of Rust, where Alec Baldwin and Helena Hutchins. Yeah, we shot our film about 3 weeks after that, and our production insurance company actually called us up, and they had some questions about the use of prop firearms and that type of thing. So it was a bit of a, I won't say a hurdle because it didn't end up being anything too bad, but it definitely raised some questions about safety and making sure we were being safe across the board, because we did have 2 actors dressed as police officers wearing prop weapons, and then our mobster had a prop firearm, and just making sure we're keeping everybody safe. We're an indie film production, and safety is everybody's top concern. So
we got a question: are those Smith Warren Company badges?
I don't think so. I don't remember the name of the company, but that does not sound familiar.
That's okay. That's just a comment came up.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Are these your drawings or the same ones?
That's mine. That's my chicken scratch.
Yeah, so, you call it chicken scratch. I call it freaking art because I can't do that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Mine would be a stick figure.
But that shows you, very early on, that shows you the Gotham City skyline, and then it shows you the crime scene tape, and then it shows you the jib shot coming down, and then we get into the cops talking to each other. So we mostly shot that. We stuck to that.
Oh, yes. The Batarang. How many of those did you make?
Where does he get those wonderful toys? We actually we were actually granted permission by NECA. NECA is a toy company and a collectibles company, and they're based in Jersey. And I reached out to NECA pretty early on and said, hey, instead of us making stuff for the film, I just want to use yours, and I want to make sure we're not stepping into anything I don't want to step into. And their legal team wrote me back pretty quick and said, no, do your thing. We're going to sign a release over to you guys so you can use our Batarang. You can use our spear gun launcher, which we use later in the movie. And we credited NECA. They're in there as a special thanks. And those guys were awesome to, grant us permission just use all that. I don't know that we really needed to ask, but I was also just trying to cover all the bases and
Yeah, you never know.
make sure we're not stepping into anything. I don't like a lot of drama.
Yeah. So we got some makeup.
That's good. Yeah. Well, yeah, that might be sweat being wiped out of his eyes. That's Guillermo wearing 25 pounds of rubber, probably on about hour number 8.
Well, he was probably the only warm one on the set.
Yeah, he was comfortable. I think he actually said, however cold it is outside, at about 30 degrees, and that's how he feels. So if it's 70 degrees, he's roasting. But if it's 20, he's great. He also had a cameo as Johnny Gobbs. The corpse at the beginning of the movie, in the wide shots, we wanted you to be able to tell it was an actual human being. So we had Guillermo as Johnny Gobbs, the corpse. And then in the medium and the close-up shots, when you didn't really need a human being laying there, we just put the jacket and the hat on the mannequin, and the actors were still there, and they had something to react with. But it was pretty funny seeing the guys carry that mannequin through the streets of Petersburg, Virginia. We had some weird looks.
Oh boy,
that's Ramel Punzal. He was the first AD, first assistant director for The Oath, and he's also my first assistant director for Farragut Forward. And you talk about a guy who's organized, always knows what to do. He's my right hand man, and just a huge help on any film shoot. Yeah, all this is night one stuff. That's in the alley. I think that's the mannequin. I don't think that's William. That's probably the mannequin between them. That's John Broughton. Yeah, that's John Broughton.
I was about to say, it's John there.
John, yep. John helped us out on. He did a lot of the wardrobe stuff with the cop costumes. He did a lot of the tailoring for that. He tailored Oz's suit. He trimmed the cape of the bat suit so we weren't tripping on it during the fight scene. And then after his wardrobe efforts were done, John helped us out with sound, and he was a boom op for a while and a sound recordist, and helped us out a lot over the weekend.
Wow!
Also a co-producer. He was a co-producer on the film as well. That's just awesome. That's just me watching a movie.
What are we using there? Is it a Sony?
That is it's a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, 6K Pro. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, you mentioned fantastic conditions. It shoots really, really well in low light. I mean, for the technically minded people out there, I think the whole film was shot no higher than an ISO 1250. And actually, some of those shots were probably like close to ISO 400. It's a fantastic camera in low light conditions. You'd be surprised to go with that ISO without having to crank the grain way up.